When you look at a box score after a game, what's the most telling indicator of a team's performance? The first place I look is the most basic of all advanced analytics, the yards per play stat. It gives a sense of which team would gain the most yards on any given play in the game. Now, like all things, this can be skewed by outliers, but fundamentally it's a quick and easy way to see who is more efficient at moving the football. In every game this season, except for the Notre Dame game, which has been a pretty big outlier in all respects, FSU has had a higher yards per play than its opponent, and all by a pretty significant margin. Let's look at this past Louisville game. This margin of positive 1.4 yards means that on average, FSU gained an extra 1.4 yards every time their offense ran a play compared to Louisville's offense. Now, no one stat can be a perfect predictor of success, but this hunch is backed up by some correlational data done by Football Outsiders in 2014, which I'll link below. They found that teams with yard per play margins between 0.5 and 1 had a 72% chance to win a game. And if the margin was between 1 and 1.5, then the win percentage jumped to 86.2. Now, before you jump in the comment section, I'm not claiming that Florida State should have won these 3 games, but I do think that it warrants the question, if FSU is fundamentally winning the battle on any given snap, why are they always coming up short in the win column? There's a really great site out there called GameOnPaper.com that gives some really good, quick, advanced analytics that I use to compare these 3 games next to each other. From my eyes, there are 2 very important metrics that help explain FSU's inability to convert this yards per play advantage into tangible results. The first is turnover margin. FSU has lost a turnover battle in every game this season. According to this article by Football Outsiders, an average turnover is worth about 5 points. As you can imagine, part of this has to do with luck, but another part is skill and ability. However, the more confounding stat, and the one I want to spend the most time on, is late down success rate. FSU is currently 99th in the country in stopping teams on third down, and 101st in the country at converting them themselves. Usually you can attribute failure on third down to failures on first and second down, but FSU has had a higher early down success rate than its opponent in every game this year. So what is it? Let's dive into the film and see if we can't figure it out for ourselves. Let's start first with the low-hanging fruit. This defense has gotten its fair share of third and long stops, but consistently throughout the season, once or twice a game, they'll give away a free first down to the offense off just dumb penalties. Even when Florida State isn't giving first downs due to penalty, they're still losing the one-on-one matchups needed to be successful at stopping teams on third down. Frequently, Jacksonville State went to this little post-stop concept that consistently won against Florida State's man coverage. The story was much the same against Louisville. Here they went to this backside slant a few times in the first half to consistently win on these third and long scenarios. Wake's game plan was a little bit different. You can see them come out into this bunch set and run these crossing patterns, which gives a similar feel to the slants we saw before, but now they have extra pick routes that get even more space in the open field. Meanwhile, Florida State has been completely unable to win these one-on-one matchups they need on third and long. Here, this is a very common man-beater route. Jacksonville State is in man-free across the board, and Florida State's running what's called a slot fade concept, where this slot receiver is expected to be able to win a one-on-one fade against a safety. Unfortunately, you can see here that Helton gets run out of the play, and there's really nowhere to go with the ball. I want to give another more tangible example of how Florida State is failing to get the first downs they need to move the ball consistently downfield. This is 3rd and 6. This is a play you need to be able to make. They have a nice little mesh concept called with these crossing receivers that bring up the eyes of the linebackers and really open up space for this tight end to settle into. Now this play is open and there's actually good blocking on the front side, as you can see here, but the throw isn't there and the catch isn't made, and so Florida State doesn't get this first down. Now contrast this to this play. This is a very similar look, but Wake Forest has some pressure up the middle, and this defender is actually pretty well covered, but they make this throw and catch where Florida State didn't. It seems like every team we play is able to make these difficult throws and catches at least a few times a game to really move the ball when they need it. But the best thing to try to do to try to manufacture first downs on 3rd and medium and 3rd and long is try to make the throws easy on your quarterback. Here Louisville designs a switch route that gives a rub for the outbreaking receiver at the sticks, which is an easy throw and catch to make. Now Florida State has tried its hand at making similar things happen. Here they drop a mesh concept on 3rd and 5 that has a similar rub action to it. Mackenzie Milton sees that they're playing sticks coverage, which means that all of these defenders are hanging out at the line to gain. So he does the smart thing and he tries to hit this little shoot route by the running back to allow him to have a little bit of steam moving forward. This is the correct read, but it's just a play that needs to be made. Here's another good example at a failed rhythm throw. This is most likely a stick or a flood that's just looking to get an easy completion on 3rd and 4. Mackenzie sees that there's some kind of cover 2 here and is expecting to hit his receiver after he gets behind this cornerback. Unfortunately, the wide receiver isn't on the same page and the ball sails out of bounds, making it look like Florida State has no idea what they're doing. But truly the hardest pill to swallow when it comes to FSU's 3rd down performance is their utter inability to get first downs on 3rd and shorts. So here against an FCS team, Jacksonville State, on a 3rd and 2, Florida State draws up a down play, which has these down blocks and a pulling guard on the play side. Jack State only has 3 down linemen and it looks like they're just giving away this first down. Unfortunately, Florida State's offensive line gets beat across the board and Jack State gets a tackle for loss. But Florida State lost these battles on the other side of the ball as well. Here's a very similar 3rd down situation, 3rd and 2, and Florida State isn't prepared for this read option, which is one of Jacksonville State's go-to plays. Now they consistently struggle in these 3rd and 1 situations. It's hard against these mobile quarterbacks, but you still have to be disciplined and be prepared to make these stops. Even against a team like Wake Forest, they consistently lost across the line of scrimmage. Florida State would get creative and try to throw the ball on these 3rd and shorts, but the offensive line and quarterbacks are just too hesitant to be able to make this work. While there have definitely been failures on this coaching staff in terms of personnel decisions and even often play calls, at the end of the day, I don't think that's the truest problem with this team. FSU is getting the opportunities that other teams are getting. They just aren't converting on those opportunities. To me, it seems like the reason Florida State struggles on these 3rd down opportunities is because it forces you to play your hand. Defenses know it's either a passing situation or a running situation. And without the trickery associated with Norvell's play calling, FSU is really struggling to win these one-on-one individual matchups. Now this team is nowhere near where they need to be, and the record proves that. But I don't think they're quite as far off as a lot of people want to say they are. In a lot of respects, they're winning the entire game, just losing on the most important down. If they can learn to convert that early down success into late down success, we might see a different team as the season rounds the corner.